Welcome to the Savage Productions YouTube channel.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another Savage Productions YouTube channel video. Today we're actually at D&D Parts and Engine Services. These guys are going to be the people who repair my head. So if you haven't seen the 363 engine build that I'm doing, kind of had a catastrophic failure and it kind of damaged the head a little bit. So let me show you what's going on here. These guys have messed with some of my heads before. Actually, the old heads that I was supposed to be running, the Trick Flow 11Rs, I was going to be using those, and they did the head work on those. But not going to be using those, going to be using these AFR 205 Renegades, but they need to be fixed first. So let me show you what's going on with these. So I have all the new exhaust valves, and this box here, this is the stuff that we took out. Not going to be using that intake valve. I also got a new intake valve because it looked like it kind of nicked the intake valve on the side that it broke. But these are my heads, a little dirty. I'm going to have them clean it up. So we actually took these out to check piston valve clearance, and this is the one that's broken. So if I can get this turned over without spilling a whole lot of oil. Right there is the damage from the valve stem, and then it also kind of nicked right there, and it flattened out on this part right here. So we did check. You can actually reach in here inside of the water jacket and feel where the little bulge is from that, but it didn't go all the way through, so we shouldn't have an issue with coolant leaking in there. But all the exhaust valves were hitting the pistons, so they all need to be replaced. I'm just going to have them pretty much take out all the valves, put new exhaust valves in, and just kind of re-seal everything, clean it all up, and get it all ready to go back into the car. So I'm going to take these in here, see if I can't record a little bit of what's going on in their shop, and then I'll be on my way. All right. Heads are on the table, and they're going to be taking care of it here soon. This is what their shop looks like. They got a lot of equipment in the back as well. But I'll probably be getting a call from these guys by the end of the week, and we'll get the heads all set up on the engine. Well, it's been about 2 years since that last clip. I'm super excited now because we're actually going to be getting started on my car again. So the other day we actually put the heads on the block, checked piston valve clearance with the new fly cuts, valve relief put into the pistons, and we have really good piston valve clearance now. So I'm excited. I'm excited to finally get this thing back together. I do want to clarify, it didn't take 2 years for D&D to fix my heads. They're actually right here. I got them fixed probably in about a week's time, 2 weeks time. But this is the one that was messed up. And as you can see, they welded in the little hole where the valve stem went, cleaned up the rest of all of this, welded in a little spot here where it was flat, grinded it smooth, and then they did have to deck the heads just a little bit. But they cleaned them all up really nice. They cleaned everything up exceptionally well. The only bad thing is that they obviously had to take these out to clean them, so we have to readjust those, but that's to be expected. But we just got here. We have my engine here sitting in the back of the Butte. We call it the Butte. This is the Tribute, Mazda Tribute. We're gonna get this thing pulled out of here and start assembling it today. All right, so for those of you who are new to the channel, or you just don't remember, this is my 363 cubic inch Dart SHP small block Ford block. It's based off of a 302, same deck height, but because it's a Dart block, you can bore it big, and I think you can go up to a 4.185 on the bore size, and this is a 4.125, and it basically has the same stroke as a 347. And that's what makes it a 363. So I had this thing in my Fox body, and if you don't remember what that looks like, it looks like this. But I had this thing in my Fox body, and we had a little bit of trouble, piston to valve clearance issue, and actually I think it was this, yeah, it was this one right here, because you could still see a little bit of a mark on the piston. The exhaust valve on number 5 cylinder here actually broke because it was hitting. But actually all of the exhaust valves on all of the heads, or on all of the pistons, were hitting, and this one just so happened to be the one that let go first. So the actual valve stem snapped off and lodged itself into the head, and that's why we had to get the heads fixed. After around 2 years of sitting underneath my dining room table, now we have this thing ready, and we're going to go ahead and start getting it put back together. So I actually have a lot of parts to show you guys. It's going to be really exciting. We're going to try to put the heads on today and get the rocker arms adjusted, and that might be all that we're able to do today because we need to get better intake bolts. We were going to get some ARP intake bolts and we forgot to order those, so we're going to be limited there. But let me go ahead and show you the parts. So as many of you know, this is going to be naturally aspirated but nitrous assisted motor. Many of you know I'm sponsored by Nitrous Express. So originally I was going to run this thing. This is their pushrod 5.0 Fox Body style plate with integrated solenoids in it. They originally said that this was going to spray about 300 horsepower, but based on some testing that they did after they actually got it into production, they said it's a lot more suitable for just 250. If you wanted to get 300, then you can kind of step up and get something else. So I was looking at making around 650, 700 to the wheels on the motor, and then have about a 300 shot on top of that. So I wanted to be right there at that 1,000 mark. And when they said that that's only going to spray 250, I was like, well, it's not going to do it. So went ahead, just kind of went a different direction. So this is the Edelbrock Super Victor lower intake. It does support EFI, so it has the holes for the injectors. This is for the 8.2 deck, which is the 302 base, and then they also, I'm sure they have one for the 9.5 351 base deck. But yeah, this is going to be our lower intake, and the specs on this thing, what does it say that it flows? Like 4,000 to 8,500 or 9?
Yeah. Yep.
So it's going to be all the RPMs. We're pretty excited about that. And then with
your
this,
motor's built to go to 85 or 9. So
yeah. Well, the valve train I think is the limiting factor right now. It's only to 85, but the cam will pull up to 85.
Yeah.
And of course we'll support 9 if we really wanted to. So it's going to be a very high revving all motor plus nitrous car.
Yeah.
But we're pretty excited. Because of all the air that this thing's going to flow, we needed to upgrade our rest of the intake setup. So I got this Holley EFI 105 millimeter.
All the air.
Friggin' elbow. Yeah. This thing
wanted to do a 95, but no, he wanted to go bigger.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. I have a pretty large hands, and my entire fist can go in here just no problem. So that's awesome. The actual opening is much bigger than the 4150 flange here. So I don't know. It's a lot, but it's pretty cool. And of course, in between that, I'm planning on having the new Nitrous Express Assassin plate, which is a big 4150 flange with an opening. There's no spray bars or anything like that in the middle of it. It's just open right in the middle. And then we're also going to be putting a burst plate on top of that. So between those two, we'll have like 2 inches. And then we were waiting a long time because we wanted to make sure that we had enough clearance with my hood, because I didn't want to cut a hole in the hood or have to put a different hood on it. So we think that with the height being, focused solely on the middle, we'll have plenty of room, even with those 2 plates. But that's the hope. So we're not going to get those put on today, because like I said, we need to get different intake bolts, but we're going to get started on it. So I'm super excited. He's just chilling over here. After eating 3 tacos for lunch, you're kind of out of energy or something? Little cat nap?
That and my damn back sore from lifting that heavy ass motor.
That's true. It was a lot. Alright, so I just finished painting up this timing chain cover. Oh, a little bit of oil there. It was like some parts that were messed up. Paint was flaking off. The old paint was showing through, so I went ahead and touched it up with some black paint. A little tip for you guys if you've never done this before. You take your can of normal little spray paint, take the cap off, you usually hold it in 2 hands. You shake this up, spray it right into the cap. There's a little hole right in there. Spray it into the cap, and then get you a little paintbrush, and that's, you just dip it in there and then paint on whatever surface that you're trying to paint. It's very helpful for little touch-up jobs, kind of like this, especially when you kind of need to be careful. As you can see, I did kind of get a little bit of black paint on the oil pan right there and right there, but it's no big deal. It does go on a little bit thinner than usual because it is spray paint, so you do have to do a couple little coats, but it is really useful. We've done it plenty of times on my car and lots of other cars. But you see that oil right there because I went ahead and put the lifters in. When we put these in, we actually realized, if you can see right there, there's these little nicks on the top of the lifter bore, pretty much everywhere on each one of these. And we realized that the lifter itself was hitting, or the link bar was hitting, when one of these lifters was up all the way and one of them was down all the way. So in this situation right here, this lifter is hitting when this one is all the way up. You can actually kind of hear it scraping against there. So what we did was we took all the lifters apart, took one lifter, or took one of these link bars, and filed the corners down just a hair. As you can see, the difference is not that great on the side that needed it, so I don't think that the structural integrity is going to be compromised that much. So when it was down all the way and we grinded it a little bit, we took a feeler gauge, and this is 10 thousandths right here, and just put it in between there, made sure that this is shoved down all the way and pushed down all the way this way, and that there's plenty of clearance in between there. Dad thought we'd only need about 6 thousandths. I started measuring with 10 thousandths, and then he said maybe we should try 15. So it's a bit more than 10 thousandths all the way around, but we should be good there. And like I said, with the little bit that I took off, I don't think that it's going to be all that big of a deal. And I think that that is all just due to this dart block. Maybe the lifter bores are a little bit higher. If any of you guys know, in the comments section, you can just go ahead and post on there. That's if you're a Dart SHP small block Ford block expert. One thing that we did think of is that we could have gotten a different brand of lifters, that the link bars kind of lifted up a little bit higher, or the position on these were higher. But I've already ran these and they were a lot of money, so we just modified them to where we can get these to work. And if it comes back to bite me, then I guess I'm gonna have to live with that, but I don't think that it's going to. So now that these are in, we can go ahead and get the block prepped to put the heads on. It's pretty much all done. Might just do a little extra wipe of some brake clean and get the dowels put in, and then get the studs put in, and go ahead and set the heads on. Alright, head studs are screwed in, just hand tight, and head gaskets are on, so we're going to be dropping the heads on now. Alright, heads are on. Still need to be torqued down and have the bolts put on and everything, but just wanted to show you what it looks like with them on, because it looks awesome. Alright, heads are torqued down, and I actually need to loosen, I had to loosen these, because I'm pretty sure that they took these off when they completely cleaned the heads, but I backed this one off a little bit more because I saw that they were hard, and I was concerned that maybe they tightened them up and they were getting galled up. But there's actually some thread sealer in there, and these poke through on the intake side, as you can see right there. So they might have not actually taken these out, which would be cool, because I think that they got really cleaned up. But I did just loosen all 3 of these, and these 2-piece guide plates are a pain in the butt to do. So I'm going to put these push rods in on these other ones and just make sure that they're still lined up, and then if they are, then we have these 3 to readjust, which is unfortunate, but we'll see. Alright, so we ended up not doing the rockers today. We have to still figure out if these are pre-adjusted or if they were taken off by D&D when they did the heads. So that's going to be left for another day. We did put the motor mounts on and the balancer, and all the push rods are sitting in there. I made sure they were cleaned and blown out, put some brake clean in it and sprayed it off, or sprayed it out, and made sure to look through the hole. You can look through the hole up through the sky. I doubt I can get this on camera. Well, there it is. Yeah, so you could look through it just like that and see if there's any clogging going on, and I checked all of them, and no clogging on any of them after I blew them out. There was a little bit of some leftover sludge in there, just from us throwing it into a box when we took it apart last time 2 years ago. But that's gonna do it for today. I am super excited that we're freaking getting this thing back together. I know he is too. He's been bugging me. He's like, man, we just need to get your car back together instead of worrying about trying to race mine. And
yeah.
His, that is.
Yeah. Yours got the cage in it, and,
yeah,
you know, better suspension and the whole deal. So.
And it'll go faster.
Yeah. It'll make more power. This thing should make almost as much. Well, actually,
it'll probably make almost as much as yours does just on the motor.
Well, with mine on 10 pounds of boost, this should make normally aspirated what mine does on 10 pounds.
We'll race them.
But I'm going to turn it up to 15 when we race.
All right. I'll spray 75 shot then.
I forgot.
Yeah, you forgot. All right, well, I appreciate you all watching. I'm sure some of you who have been longtime viewers of the channel are super excited to see this thing get back together and get me back in a running vehicle that is fast, not my Focus ST. So again, thank you all so much for watching. If you want to see the rest of this build come back together and some drag racing videos and all that kind of stuff, once we do get it back together, there's going to be an entire learning curve on what we're going to go through. You know, we're going to share the good parts and the bad parts, and what we learn and what we learned the hard way with, you know, setting up a car to this caliber. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it, but I hope some of you are too. And if you are, just subscribe to the channel. And if you like this video, hit the like button, and you know, stay tuned for some future content. So thanks again for watching. We'll catch you all in another video.